Hey guys, I'm coming to you back with another video. I'm going to show you how I do my dough for, I make chips out of it. We make crackers. I did the dough for the Philly cheese bake, and I also did it for the apple pie roll. And I also do this this is how I do it. All the ingredients that I use, like the sea salt and things like that, use that to your liking, so okay, so here we go. What I'm gonna do is using the spelt flour, and it's gonna be 2 cups of the spelt flour. And this stuff is good for your digestive system. It's better for you than white flour. It's pricey, but you have to know that you're worth it. And we are worth it. Your health is your wealth. And I'm adding a 2nd cup of flour. And I'm putting this in the blender. And then I'm going to add some sea salt. And you can add about, if you want to go by measurements, you can add about a teaspoon of sea salt, but I kind of don't measure. And you season your stuff to your liking. And I'm just going to blend that up in the blender, the sea salt and the flour. I'm just going to knock some of that down and just blend it one more time so it gets pretty well. Actually, I'll just stir it myself. And then I am going to add, now I know Dr.Sebi does not approve with cooking with coconut oil, but I'm going to bake with this. So if you don't want to, if you want to strictly follow the guide, you use grapeseed oil in place of this. But this says it's unrefined and it can take medium to heat. So, okay. And I am going to add about 1/4 cup of coconut oil to the mixture, if I can get it out. I like the way I've tried it with the grapeseed oil, and I like the way it tastes better with the coconut oil, and the dough comes out better with the coconut oil. But like I said, I pretty much follow the guide pretty strictly, except for this when it comes to the making the dough. And I figure, it's doing a lot better than how I used to eat, so I made the exception. But if you want to stay on and it's not nasty at all with the grapeseed oil, it's just my preference. Alright, so I'm just going to take that the coconut oil and add it to the mixture and blend that up. Sometimes you have to stop it and help it along the side if you have a blender. Food processors may work a little better, but I'm working on getting one of those. That's one of my next moves. think I'm going to add a little more coconut oil. I added about an 1/8 cup of coconut oil in addition. Sometimes 1/4 of a cup does enough that I needed to do, but I don't think that. So what you want it to do is kind of stick together a little bit, so you can kind of see the oil, and that helps it bind. And then you're going to add a 1/2 cup of spring water. Make sure it's spring water. I mean, if you don't want to use spring water, any water will do, but if you're going by the guide. And so I'll just add that and blend. As you can see, it'll start to kind of form a dough ball. And sometimes you have to help it along with the blender. So pretty much blend it up pretty good. So just going to move this out of the way. And start making my dough. Put a little flour down on the board so it doesn't stick, but it should have some. I've already made some of this just before I started recording. Figured I'd do another one on video. And so my pan, rolling pin had flour on it already, and I try to put a little flour on my hand. And I take my blender apart. Okay, that can be hard sometimes. And that's how my blender comes apart. This blender, I got that from Walmart. The brand name is Barberware or something like that. Barberware. Okay. So, I'm going to scrape that, the rest of the dough off. And it comes out pretty good. Easy. And now you want to knead it. Just knead the dough, kind of mix it up some more. And see, when I've used the grapeseed oil, the dough seems to come out a lot tougher. It's not as easy to work with, and that's one of the things I've noticed, the difference between the grapeseed oil and the coconut oil. And there you have your dough. And what you do is take some off, and you roll it out flat for chips. You can make tortillas, pretty much anything. Crackers, chips, and I am going to make some rolls for our apple pies. So kind of show you guys how I do that. I already have some apples cooked that I cooked in the skillet. And so hopefully you guys can see that. Get yourself a cast iron skillet as well for cooking. Help keep your nutrients, especially your iron, in your food that you cook. And then you don't have to worry about those metals, like aluminum metals and things like that, getting into your food. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take some spring water. And put it on the dough to make it stick together. All right. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to take that and fold it over. And I'm pressing it in, pressing it together. Actually, I think I want to add a little more syrup to it. And this is going to be the agave syrup. And I bake these in the oven for about 15 minutes, but right after I do them. But I freeze them sometimes. I make a lot of them and freeze them, so, you know, on days you don't want to cook and the kids can come home from school and they just can pop one right into the oven. And usually when they pop them in the oven, cook it on if you cook it on 350, it takes about 25 minutes on my oven. But, you know, like anything, cooking time can vary. And I take my fingers and I press it down to give it a little design. And then I take my knife, or you can use this. And then you just cut off the extra. Turn that around so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. Excuse the girls' noise in the background. They are home today from school. And life goes on here. So there's some little noise. And there's a little hole, so I'm just going to take some dough and cover that. Okay. What are you doing to her?
She's beating me up. And she called me a big head. I said, I don't want to open the door, big head. She asked me to open the door, and I said no. And then she started beating me up.
And then you could take a knife and poke the top, kind of let some of the air out. Usually they come out a lot prettier than this, but I had to cover that hole, so I just kind of take a little, and I wrap these up in parchment paper and then stick them in a sandwich bag to freeze. And there you have it. That's how you make the dough, and that's how I make the apple pies.